Hey, welcome back for part 2 of my video series on the equipment that we use for filmmaking. Today we're going to be talking about the audio equipment that I use on location. Here I have my audio bag. This is what we take to weddings, when we're doing short films, documentaries, all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to walk through the different pieces and show you how it all works. So the heart and soul of this bag here is the Zoom F4 recorder. This little guy is awesome. So it's got 4 XLR inputs, timecode input, and runs off of 8 AA batteries. The preamps that are built in are fantastic as well. No complaints with those. We've used this extensively over the last 6 months for our documentary that just came out. If you haven't had a chance to watch that yet, go for it. It's pretty cool. One of my favorite features about the Zoom F4 is the polywave. So essentially you get one file, but you can split up each of your individual tracks, which is fantastic in post. If you have one of your mics that you just want to cut completely, the other ones are fine. The main microphone we use is the Deity S Mic 2. It just came out about a year ago, I believe, and it is fantastic. It's a shotgun mic. Build quality's great. It's weather sealed, and it just gets the job done. So to test out the S Mic 2, I'm going to do a little bit of ASMR with my new Hasselblad. Hopefully that gives you a good idea as to how this mic works. The dead cat is great when you've got air conditioning going, or if you're outside and it's windy, it just cuts all the wind noise out. So I leave that on about 95% of the time. For wireless mics, I've got 2 of the Rode Filmmakers kits. I've had the first one for about 3 years. The second one I just picked up so that we could have 2 different ones going at the same time. To sync up my audio and video in post, I use the Tentacle Sync system. I talked a little bit about that in my last video. One of them goes right on the recorder, one of them goes on my camera, and I can just toss all my media in at the end of the day and sync it right up in a multicam. So if you're using timecode with the Tentacle Syncs, you're also going to need a special adapter from timecode input on the Zoom to the 3.5mm jack on the Tentacle Syncs. That costs about 20 bucks too from Tentacle. So these headphones from Sony do a fantastic job. Nice long cable, you can reach everything. Great for monitoring your audio on location, and I use them for editing as well with my PC. Everything I use fits right in this bag, which is great. I can just toss it in the car and head out on location and just start going. Battery life's great, lasts about 4.5 hours when using all 4 input channels. The Deity S Mic 2 does use phantom power, so that eats a little bit of extra battery. So if you're just using the wireless mics, you can get probably 6 hours out of this thing with built-in batteries. It does have option to power it externally as well. I just haven't done that yet. Usually about 4 hours is plenty for me for a day. So to get everything working together, you are going to need a couple different types of adapters. I use 6-inch XLRs just straight out of the bag so that I don't have to worry about trying to reach my hand inside the bag to connect any microphones. For the wireless mics, they have a 3.5mm input, so I have converters from Rode that go to XLR. So channel 1 on the recorder I use for the Deity S Mic 2. Channels 2 and 3 are for the wireless mics. And channel 4 I leave open for maybe a DJ booth or a sound system. Comes in really handy at a wedding. You can just plug right in and let it go. Having 4 different inputs really came in handy on our documentary because we were able to mic up 2 of the officers we were following around for the day, as well as having the shotgun mic running and 2 cameras. So my second camera operator and I could go into different rooms and still be catching audio straight to the bag. This allowed us to be in 2 places at once and still have clean audio sources that we could split up depending on what we wanted to show in the final film. So the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is a budget version of all this. This is the guy that I used before I got this system. This is the Tascam DR05. A lot of people ask me, what's the best option for recording audio from a DJ booth, say at a wedding or an event? and this little guy has never failed me. The battery life is insane. It'll run all day. Records straight to micro SD cards. AA batteries in the back. And the only things you need to bring with you are this guy and 2 different cable options. So we've got 3.5mm jack to XLR and 3.5mm jack to RCA. These are the only 2 things that I've run into as far as recording output from a DJ booth. If you want to be safe, you could also get a 3.5mm to 1/4 inch TRS. Some DJs like that as an output. But yeah, this little guy will pick up the sound. There's no way to do time code with this, so best bet is to use something like Pluralize 4 to sync up your audio and video in post. But other than that, no complaints. It's been a lifesaver for weddings and different events where I need clean audio out of a sound booth. That's about it for today. Thanks for watching. I've got a documentary up on the channel. It's the last video I posted. We go inside the walls of El Dorado County Juvenile Hall and tell a pretty sweet story. This whole audio setup costs around $2,500 and definitely well worth it. Audio is incredibly important when it comes to making films, and that's something I wish that I knew earlier. If you have any questions at all with this equipment, or you're looking to build something of your own, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or right here on YouTube. I'll leave a link to everything that I'm using here in the description, as well as a link to the previous video where I talk about the camera that I use. Bean?